Welcome back, crew. It's January, so that means our game of the month is Pathfinder 2e by Paizo. And today, we're going to get to one of my favorite parts of learning any new tabletop RPG. It's going through and building a PC. Now, if you're new to the channel, this will be the first time you hear this advice, but I say it all the time. Whether you're a game master or just going to be a player in an RPG, going through and building your own PC is the best way to learn a new system, especially if you do it by hand. And by hand, I mean you can use Roll20 or like a digital character sheet, but don't use a character builder. Because if you only go through and you kind of build it by hand, you find a lot of what the system has important, and you kind of go through and look stuff up and go back and forth. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be going through and building a human fighter using the Pathfinder 2e system. And some of you guys may be coming from 5e like, why'd you pick a human fighter? One of the cool things with Pathfinder 2e is just how much you can customize your PC. And I really wanted to show that off by picking what some people usually call the bland option. So we're going to go through and build a level 1 human fighter and kind of show you how it's done. Before we dive into that, for anybody that's new to the channel, what we do is each month we pick a different game, TTRPG, to focus on, and we go through it. We build like a PC like we're doing today. We go over some of the core mechanics, and it's something unique to the system. But one of the big things we do is we hold a live actual play game, and we'll be holding our live play of Pathfinder 2e January 26th, which is a Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Cool thing with this is one of our goals of our channel is to get more people playing different games. So as always, we'll be giving away a copy of the Pathfinder 2e PDF to one lucky viewer. So join us, and maybe you'll have some luck with the raffle and get to bring that home and bring this system to your table. So come check us out on my channel, Tegan J Gaming at twitch.com, linked down in the description, and hang out with us Thursday the 26th and get to see the system in action. But today, we're going to build Laro, our human fighter, and just kind of show off a little bit of the Pathfinder 2e system and how to build it. And now, Pathfinder 2e does have a little bit of crunch, so it's going to probably be a little bit of a longer video than normal. But one of the cool things I wanted a little announcement for the channel, I convinced my D&D group to switch over to Pathfinder 2e once our campaign ends. So I'll be playing Pathfinder pretty often, so this is likely that there'll be a lot more Pathfinder 2e videos down the line. We start a new campaign, I think in February sometime, once we wrap up this old one. So stay tuned. There'll be more Pathfinder 2e stuff as I gotta get better acquainted with the system. But today we're going through the whole process, just showing you how to start to finish, how to build a PC using Pathfinder. So let's dive into it. So one of the things that I always recommend going to this page whenever you're starting a new TTRPG, and luckily everyone I've played has one in some form or another, some better, some worse, but the Pathfinder 2e definitely has a character creation section. One of my wishes, this is like a small thorn, I love when systems have it on one page, all the different steps. Shout outs to Lancer, shout outs to Suede, Savage Worlds. I love when they have it all on one page. There's a lot to go into with this one, but it's cool having this summary. Maybe it's in the book somewhere and I haven't seen it, but I don't think there is one in there. But luckily, and I think there's probably some fan made, or even Paizo made one out there, but using the core rulebook, head to these pages and it gives you kind of the core outline of how to build a PC. Going over your ability scores, how to handle building a concept, your ancestry, faith allies, all of that. And we're going to go through and do this step by step. So we're going to cut out faith and allies. We're going to focus mostly on getting your ancestry, background, class, ability scores, equipment, all of that right for Laro the fighter. So let's dive in. So as I said, Ancestry is your first stop to go to, and we're going to be running a human fighter. And one of the things for any RPG they always recommend doing is coming up with a concept for him. So Laro, we're going to build him as a little bit of a show-offy, kind of silver-tongued gladiator. He's one of the ones you learn to fight for sport, and he likes to toy with his people as he fights them, and definitely is one that can charm his way into and out of trouble. So we're going to want to focus on strength. I wanted to build a strength build with this one, kind of give him some muscles, and then we're going to make him charisma probably be a secondary key stat, with him being a fighter 2 with constitution falling behind. So with that, so we know kind of where our core stats are. We kind of got our vision of Laro in place, or Laro in place. So now we have to go through and start adjusting things. So Pathfinder 2e was interesting, especially if you're coming from 5e and are used to point buy or rolling your stats and all of that. Pathfinder, on its core rulebook, has you start with 10s in every stat, and then you make adjustments based on your race, background, class, and all of that. Most races usually give you three ability boost, which an ability boost allows you to raise a score by 2 points up until 18. When anything over 18, each time you get an ability boost, it just counts for 1. Same thing with ability flaws. Those are going to minus them by 2. I don't think there's a set cutoff for that one. Usually you only have one or two of those anyway, so you don't have to worry about that. And most ancestries usually give you 3 ability boost and then 1 ability flaw. Humans are a little bit unique because the other ancestries usually give you 2 assigned ability boost and 1 free on average. Where humans, you don't get any flaws and you get 2 free ability boosts to put wherever you want them to. So remember that we've got 2 free ability boosts for Varro, and we're going to do a whole calculation as we get closer to the end on that side. But you get a little bit of the lore on humans. The big thing when you're going through and building a PC, if you're using the core rulebook, is you're going to want to pay real big attention to this right side of the page. One of the big differences with Pathfinder compared to 5e per se is your ancestry actually helps determine how much HP you have. So humans start off with 8 HP, so add that in. So you start with 8. Remember that. Your size medium. Ancestries determine your speed too. You get 25 speed. We've already talked about the 2 free ability boost, languages, and you get the traits for human and humanoid. So a lot of times people are probably thinking like, oh, that's your human stuff. That's probably all you get. No, you get some other cool stuff. One of the cool things with Pathfinder is you get to pick both your heritage as well as you get an ancestry feat along with it. And the ancestry feats are pretty cool. Like they kind of build out your PCs or kind of your heritage and allows you to kind of pick and choose what's important for your PC to be able to do. Like some of the ones with wings, like they have like different flight options you could take. I saw a homebrew one for Dragonkin. I'm a huge Dragonborn fan. They play a big part of my homebrew games lore, so I was looking for some content. Unfortunately, Paizo doesn't have an official one, but I found a cool third-party one, and they have different things like that for you could kind of do for wings or enhance your dragon's breath, and that's how they all kind of flow with the different heritages. Just different things that would fit with the ancestry, and you can kind of go through and mix and match and build exactly what you want your PC to look like or how you want your PC to embrace their ancestry. So with humans, you have a versatile heritage, so you get to pick, or I should say versatile heritage. You have multiple human heritage you can pick. That's actually a whole other thing. But with this, I wanted to do the versatile heritage, which is the one that we wanted to pick, which gives you a general feat of your choice that you can select. With Varro, we actually went and picked the incredible initiative for his human heritage feat, which is going to give him a +2 to initiative rolls, so he'll be a little bit faster on the draw. When you see his rest of his built out stats, he's a little bit slower on dex, and I wanted Varro to be, or Laro, I keep calling him Varro, Laro to be pretty quick on the draw. So now that we've got our human heritage picked, we actually go to our human ancestry feats. And now with these, they're cool. You get them 1st, 5th, and 9th level, unless you get like a feat or something else that can kind of let you get back into the ancestry feats. But you can go through and pick whatever you wanted to do with this. So this kind of allows you to go through and just really build out Varro, your PC, the way you'd like to. That's really one of the big things, and when we get to the review of Pathfinder 2e, I love the amount of customization and just built-in choices the system has. Some systems you may have played may feel like a human fighter will play like a human fighter. The biggest choices are going to be your class or archetype, and then you're done. You're not making any more choices. With this game, there's just so many different feats and skill feats and general feats and class feats and ancestry feats that you get to make that your PC shouldn't play like anybody else's, even if you're trying to be optimized about it. So that's really cool. And that's something I enjoy. They've got a lot of different books out, but back into building Laro. So with him, I wanted him to be pretty skilled. I wanted him to have a lot of different skills, and because I'm going to be mixing his skills between kind of the charisma stuff. I wanted him to be silver-tongued, intimidating, but I also wanted him to make sure he's athletic, acrobatic. I just have a wide variety of skills. So I picked him naturally skilled, which is going to allow us to get the trained proficiency in 2 skills. And now that's going to be another video, but there's different levels of tiers of the proficiency, all the way from untrained to legendary for it. So we're done with building our human, or building the human section. We've got our feats in, we've got everything selected for that. The last big thing we need to go through is pick our background. So with our guy, I wanted him to be a gladiator, and they've got a cool gladiator background. So you get a little bit of flavor text here. I'm not going to read that to you, but the meat of it is up here. You get 2 ability boost. One of them has to be strength, and the other one can be a free ability boost. Now, one thing I do want to point out, and this is in the rules, and I almost missed it my first time going through, is you can't double up from the same source. And what that means is if we're going to pick strength for this one, we couldn't pick strength for the choice they gave, the binary choice, and then we couldn't do strength again for the free ability. So whatever you pick, you just can't do, from the same source, you can't do it twice. So you can't just do strength here, and then strength for your class, and strength. You can't double up on that same source. So for here, we're going to do strength, and then we're going to do charisma as our free ability one. We also get the free performance skill feat, or we get trained in the performance skill, and then we get the gladiatorial lore skill. We'll get into how lore skills work in our mechanics video. And we also get the impressive performance skill feat too. So gives us some pretty stacks. We get we got those 2 free ability bumps. We've already got a decided strength, and charisma will be our choices for that. And now we've got our backgrounds. We've got our human ancestry done. We've got our gladiatorial background done. Now we're going to go through and do some of class stuff. So you see, this is going to be, once again, reading that right side of the screen is where you get a lot of your core information from. So we're going to go through there, but there's also 2 things we need to go from the top on this one as well. So class gives you 1 free ability bump based off of your key ability for the class. So fighter, you're going to be, usually some of the classes are locked into a 1 choice. Fighter is one that allows you if you want to be a strength fighter or a dex fighter. We're going to be a strength fighter, so we're going to take another +2 to our strength, as well as the hit points. So you get 10 plus your constitution modifier plus your ancestry. So that's 10 plus the 8 we got from human. And now we can kind of go through, and now we've got all of our bumps in, we can go through and determine how we want to build out our ABIs. So with that, we're going to do a strength of 18. And that's going to be 2 from the class, because we got a free bump from that. 2 from human, 2 from our background, and then also after you pick all of those ones, so like your ancestry, your background, your class, you get 4 free boost that you can do for your PC. Now remember, with the 4 freebies, you can't double up on strength, or you can't double up on any of them, so you have to spread them out. So be intentional as you're going through with your class, background, and all of that to pick different feats so you kind of know where those ABI points are going. So we've got 18 for that, using our class +2, human +2, background +2, freebie +2. Dex, we're going to bump that up with one of our freebies, so now we're at a 12 for that, so modifier of 1. Nice thing for 5e, the modifiers are pretty much the same. Don't have to worry or learn anything new there. Makes it easy. We are going to do another +2 for our con, so from +2 from the human, and then +2 from our freebie. We're leaving int at 10, wisdom staying at 10, and then charisma, we're getting a +2 from our background, and then +2 from our freebie. So we spent all of our stats out. We've got Varo kind of ready to go on that side, at least on the stat portion of it. So now we can kind of go through and see the stuff he gets from the fighter. So this goes over all of your initial proficiencies. Anything that they don't list here or you don't pick from here, you're going to be untrained in. Now, with that, you get to be trained in a couple of things, and a few things we're going to touch on immediately. One of them being perception, especially if you're coming from 5e. One of the things that may be a little bit odd or stand out to you is that perception is not a skill. You get perception either from your class, like we are from Laro, or I think some of the races give you proficiency in perception, or there's a general feat that you can take too that will allow you to get that proficiency as well. So just kind of look into that, because I know some people, when they built that first PC, they try to use skill points to get that perception. That's not possible. Same thing with weapons, armor, casting proficiencies. You get those from your class, a feat, or some other source. You can't pick them using skill training. So heads up on that side. But now that we've got, we get expert in perception due to being the fighter. And remember, our grouping goes from untrained to untrained, trained, expert, master, and then legendary. So 5 levels on that side, and each give a little bit of a boost there. So we're going to be expert in perception, so we'll be pretty good at that to start. We're going to have expert in fortitude and reflex saves, and then we'll just be trained in will saves. Another big change too, which we'll go over to our mechanics video. There's only 3 core saves, which I think is pretty cool, but we'll touch on that more in our mechanics video. After that, we get to pick a number of up to 3 skills, 3 skills plus our intelligence modifier. So Laro, he's just an average guy to intellect, so we just get to pick 3 skills from him, plus the 2 that we get, so for a total of 5 skills due to the training, the versatile skill option we picked from being a human. So with those, I mentioned I wanted him to have a bit of charisma, so we're going to pick deception, diplomacy, and intimidation from our 3 from our human. With that too, as being a fighter, we get to pick another, between acrobatics or athletics. We're going to pick athletics with that. We get performance from our background. We get gladiatorial lore from our background. And then we get 2 more from the human trait that we picked. So we're going to pick acrobatics, and then I picked society too, because with a gladiator, you have to be able to, I wanted to be able to forge things if you needed to, as well as just kind of know how society works. And if you're going to be kind of charming the crowd, you probably have at least a little bit of idea of that. So I thought that'd be a good fit for a gladiator. So we get a lot of cool stats. All of these are at the trained level so far. We'll go over, we're going to do a level up video too, because for our one shot, we're playing at level 5. So probably, maybe this weekend, I'll do a level up video for Varo to show you how you go through and increase different things and what you get at what level, and if we bump him up to level 5 to meet the group. But we've got our skills done. So we can move on to the next portion there. So you get for different weapons, and they put them in the attack section. You're expert in simple weapons, you're expert in martial weapons, trained in advanced weapons, and then expert in unarmed attacks. So pretty cool stuff there. And you get trained in your fighter DC, which is going to be based off strength for Laro. So that was a lot of cool stuff we got there. We got to build out kind of our HP. We got our perception skills, all of that built in. Now we get to go through and kind of get some of our cool fightery stuff. So we've gone through, we did our proficiencies, we got our background and ancestry. Now we get to get what he gets. And you see, if you're familiar with 5e, you kind of see the class and level table and what you get for each level. So that'll be familiar. We're just going to be building a level 1 guy. So he's going to get attack of opportunity. So that's one change for this system too, is that not every creature gets attack of opportunity. With this, the fighters do. They get it for free. It's not even a feat. A little bit better though too, because if they make a ranged attack, or take the manipulate action to use an object, you get to get it off. So if you ever want to get the archer's face and wanted just to really make it painful for him, this could be more fun on that. So it gives you some more options. So now that we do that, we get to get a fighter feat as well, which we're going to go through and pick in a second. And we get the shield block, which is a really cool one too, which will allow you to, if you have your shield raised, you can use shield block to take the damage of an attack for you, from your shield. So you would take out your shield's hardness as like kind of damage reduction, and then with the remainder of that attack would go to the shield's HP, breaking it if it pours over the HP limit, and anything that goes over the HP limit goes into your PC. But pretty cool, especially if you want to play a sword and shield guy, which we're going to do for Laro. So now that we've got that, we get to pick a fighter feat, and that's it for level 1. But we got some cool stuff. We got attack of opportunity, shield block, and now we're going to get a feat to kind of determine how we want to play Laro. So you'll see the feats for the fighter are broken out by level as well. So we're level 1, so we get to pick one of these level 1 feats. I'm going to scroll back though and highlight something too. I don't know if it's in, actually I'm going to go back all the way. Because one of the really cool things with this is your feats don't have to be picked all at once. Or don't have to be picked at the level you gain them at if you're building a higher level PC. Let me see where that is. So it's in the book somewhere, but it was one of the things I caught and saw. I thought it was really cool, because especially if you're going to be building for higher levels, sometimes the level 1 feats may not be exactly what you're looking for. So this will allow you to get a little bit more versatility for your PC. But for Varro, what I wanted to do, and you can see a lot of cool stuff here, I wanted to give him power attack. I wanted him to be able to do a little bit extra damage for his attacks. And you see as you look at the feats, some of them have requirements. It's like point blank shot, you need to be wielding a ranged weapon. No requirements for power attack. Basically, you get this for just being a fighter. But one thing to note is it does take 2 of the 3 actions you get each round. But it gives you some extra damage dice you can roll to it, just to really make sure you're hitting hard whenever you do hit something. But we built out the human, we built out the background, now we built out the fighter portion of a level 1 PC. Now we're going to go through and pick some equipment. So we've got our feats, we've got our all the other things, we just need to get some equipment. So we are going to get him a shield. We're going to do him armor first. So we're going to give him the breastplate, which you start as level 1 PC with 17 or 15 gold coins to spend. That breastplate is going to take 8 of our gold coins, putting us down to 7. With this, we have a cap of our AC bonus. You can only go up to you get 4 AC bonus, but you have a dexterity cap of 1. Luckily, we only have 1 from our dexterity, so that works out perfectly. You also get a check penalty of -2, or you would if we weren't Laro, because you have your strength score. And as long as you meet the strength score, you don't have that check penalty or the -5 speed penalty as well. Because with you, the check penalty goes completely away as long as you have that strength score met. If you meet the strength score for the armor, it takes -5 feet from the penalty. So luckily this was only being 5 feet, that puts us to 0. Part of the reason why I didn't have him go for heavier armor, because I didn't want him to be too slow, because that would still be a -5 speed penalty if you went with split mail. So something to keep in mind. So we get that. We get that breastplate. Nothing crazy on the armor traits for it. Now we're going to go through and pick a shield for him. So I debated on this one. I think we're going to do a steel shield. I wanted a hardy shield. I was looking though, there's a lot of cool stuff with like tripping and shoving. Hard things has a hand free that you need to have. Buckler is a really good option for that. I went back and forth on this one quite a bit between buckler and steel shield. Pick which works well for you. The buckler is 1 less AC and a lot less HP, but that steel shield, only 2 GP. It's going to give us another 2 plus 2 to AC when it's raised. We'll go over that in a second, but it also has 20 HP, so if we ever use that shield block reaction, we'll be able to have some pretty hardy HP and hopefully not break our shield. So, with the shields, really big difference from 5e players, and I really like this, so it fits more thematically. It doesn't make your shield just that useless thing that you always have on. With Pathfinder 2e, you have to use one of your 3 actions to raise your shield. If your shield's not raised, your AC is just whatever it regularly is. If you raise the shield for Laro, we'll get to add a +2 to his AC. So, pretty cool. I like that. That makes sense to me. It's a little bit more, it fits verisimilitude a little bit better because it's your shield. You have to actively use your shield versus just having to be something that's always there. So we've got our shield, we've got our armor. Last thing we're going to do for this video, then there's a whole bunch of cool stuff we can buy. We are just going to get him get him a weapon. And since I was building a little gladiatorial fighter, I thought Laro would go really well with a trident. So I picked the trident. That's 1d8 piercing, 1 GP. It's one-handed, so it fits well with us on that side since one of our hands is filled by our shield. It also has the thrown property of 20 feet. One big thing, we're going to probably have a whole video on it. Take a look at weapon traits. Weapon traits are cool. A lot of them have different things. Unfortunately, the trident didn't have much. I wish I had like a disarm function because I feel like that's what they're used for a lot. But outside of the throne, it doesn't have too much. But a lot of these cool weapon traits kind of change and modify how you use your weapon. But that's Laro. We've built kind of a core pieces, but what we're going to do now is we're going to go to Roll20. I've already entered it in, so you don't have to watch me type, but we're going to go through with Roll20 and show you how to build or how to enter certain things within the system and get Laro up and running. The Roll20 Pathfinder sheet is pretty cool. A couple they've got like the proficiency explainers on here. My favorite thing I saw, and we'll get into the other pieces, is they got the conditions. So if you're blinded, you can click on that and it'll start doing the rolls automatically for you. And you don't have to worry about tracking that or your players forgetting to remember what it is. You just tell them, hey, you're blinded. Click it and I'll tell you when you're unblinded. And they're good to go. But you see we've got our stats in there. We went over how we got those. So we got our strength at 4, dex at 1, 2 con, 2 charisma. Nice thing too is a lot of these pre-fill once you enter them in there. I highly recommend getting the compendium for Pathfinder because you can just pull over stuff too, which makes life a little bit easier as well when you build it. With our guy, we've got an AC of 15 because he's got the +1 from his dexterity and then the 4 from his armor. And then you see they have the shield to use separately. So if you ever raise that shield, you've got an AC of 17. Got our saves in there. Oops, I forgot to put the trained. Actually, I'll show you how to do it since I forgot to do it. So with that, we've got expert and our fortitude. We should have expert and reflex. And then trained here. And you just click it in. And now we've got all of ours at the right spot. You see, we've got our core skills we've got in there. We picked athletics, intimidation, all of those. Perception, you see, is its own thing. And you can click it to either perceive or for initiative. We got some of our actions we can do there. The shield block, power attack. Got our trident built in. And nice thing too with this is if you drag over stuff into your inventory, you can just click equip and it'll equip it and bring all the base stats from the game. So pretty easy. The Roll20 sheet on this one is I liked it. It was pretty straightforward, easy to use, and it works well. So that's pretty much building Laro. It took us about 20 minutes going through and talking it over. But I think one of the biggest things I've seen from a lot of people coming from 5e are intimidated about how to build a PC with Pathfinder. It's different than 5e, but once you kind of read through it and try it out a time or two, it's no harder. More choices, which choices sometimes can add a layer of complexity to it, but I think once you get into it, it's all the cool stuff that's available to you. And this is just a level 1 PC we built out for Laro, but he's able to do so many things, especially with just some of the actions they give him and the different features and things you can get from trained skills. There's just so much you can do and so much fun you can have with them. So that's really one of my favorite pieces with Pathfinder. Hope you guys enjoy it too. But yeah, this is one of our first videos on the Pathfinder 2e side. I hope you enjoy it. As I mentioned, this is going to be probably a more regular occurrence outside of just our January game of the month with me switching my D&D 5e campaign over. So in the comments, drop anything that you'd like us to focus on with Pathfinder 2e after we get through the game of the month stage. Next things we're going to be focusing on with that is we're going to go through the out-of-adventure mechanics as well as a different video on, out-of-combat mechanics, and then a different video on in-combat mechanics for the Pathfinder 2e system. And then after that, we're going to go over some of the tools that the Pathfinder 2e system gives to you as a GM. So, hope you enjoyed the content. If you're new to the channel, please like, subscribe. Each month we pick a different game of the month and highlight some of its core features. And this month it's Pathfinder 2e. And then make sure to join us for our live play game, January 26th at 7 p.m. on my channel, Tegan Gaming at twitch.com. Link down in the description. And hopefully you'll get a chance to win a free copy of the PDF. But thanks everybody for your time, and until next time.